Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 story, Rebuilding Viborg, with me, Daniel. It's our second stint in Scandinavia and we are having a very solid start to our third season. We are back today, one game earlier than planned because the two we wanted to show have been split by a cup tie, as we face Midtjylland, who are competing for the top half this year, and Copenhagen, the current runaway leaders. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on, whether we can compete with the big boys as we have most of the rest of the teams this year, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content. Links to all the key playlists up in the eye above and virtually everything else down in the description below. But thank you as always for your incredible support as we are back for two of the big boys of Danish football, two of the big spenders, two of the sides in Europe, and Copenhagen, the side at the moment that are stopping us from an absolute fairy tale because things have been going rather well. We have had some disappointment, but overall we've been consistent, and to be honest, when we've played the bottom half teams, we've been virtually invincible. So let me show you what's been happening since the last episode. There have been some very positive results. We have been looking at players we can maybe bring in January on the youth side, try and add to it, nick some of the younger players. But as people have mentioned in the comments, with Lyngby in the top tier, that has got a little bit tougher now. If we look at our recent fixtures, you were with me for Esbjerg. We've won 3 out of 4 since. The only one we lost against Brøndby, the side in third, may yet catch us this season. So against Lyngby, we won by 3-0. Daniel Harbo got a brace, including his first on a stroke of half-time to set us up nicely. Daniel Thorsen got the third to make it sure. Away at lower league Hellerup, we won by 2-0. Thorsen and Flavio Sampaio got the goals. At home to Brøndby, a little bit of disappointment, mainly because we conceded just after getting back on terms. Lerche had a shocker in goal, but when we've gone to a youngster, a teenager back there, there is the risk for that to happen. So we're going to have to be patient. But unfortunately, we did fall to defeat and then bounce back in style against the league's basement team. A 4-1 victory with Tobias Beck and Daniel Harbo getting 2. I think the only concern this season, if I'm being honest, David Palmer on the right hasn't really hit form yet, and Joachim Rothman up front, nowhere near as prolific as last year. He did miss a lot of pre-season injured, but I feel those two things are just stopping us from really pushing on. You can see, generally speaking, we've been really good defensively. We have still scored goals, but a lot of them we've been reliant on our midfield. So hopefully that will be the one change as the year goes on. We have been working hard to tie people down to contracts to get people into a good position. But to be honest, considering we lost our star player on deadline day, considering Bukima doesn't yet learn the language, considering we're not really having great luck with injuries, we're having lots of little 1 or 2 week knocks and people missing out on odd games, we're doing really well. The squad's competing, we've got a manageable wage bill, and after half the season we just got our first instalment for where we finished in the league, and we got like £1 million. So we're now in a really solid position financially too. I couldn't ask for much more this season. It's starting to come across really well. And if we can get into Europe this season, which looks incredibly likely at the moment, then it could be a very promising future and a very quick rise after that for Viborg Football Club. So let's go and get into the first of today's 2 games. Copenhagen have just beaten Brøndby, which maybe for any outside title chance is a disaster. But let's be honest, we want to get into Europe. And if we can do that in stages, if Brøndby fall behind comfortably, very good news for us. Against Midtjylland, though, we will have a tough test. A good side on their day. Have too many days where they're not at it. They've got the likes of Zinkernagel. They've got the likes of Seema. They've got real quality attacking players. But will they turn up for the big one? Did they get through to the group stages in Europe as well? Because if they're playing Thursdays, which they are, that makes a big difference. They've got Lech Poznan on Thursday night, and actually they've got 4 points out of their first 2 games. So it's a very important stage for them because they could go a long way in Europe. So we are going to put out our strongest possible team. And I'm feeling a little more confident now that they might rest a few against us. So let's get to the team selection. It's the derby game. There's 7,500 fans in. Let's pick our strongest 11. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Okay, I think we're going to be unchanged from our last league game. The only player who's fit and misses out on the squad is Victor Tranberg. He looks like he's leaving at the end of December. Can't agree a new deal with him. But the rest of the team's really solid. I'm a little disappointed at how quickly the left-back's developing, but he's alright overall. Bukima's starting to settle in at centre-half, and the rest is pretty strong. So if Lerche can stay in form, stay consistent, if Rothman can start scoring goals again, we could be in for a very good season. We've got Lerche between the sticks today and Yembi and Schroeder at fullback. And Yembi's been on international duty, but we are going to go with him from the start. Carter and Bukima alongside them in the middle. Witt, Harbo, Toxvard the midfield three. Palmer, Beck and Rothman the front three. A really solid bench, lots of strong players there. So let's get into it, see if we can get a victory against Midtjylland. And here is the Midtjylland lineup. Not sure how many changes that is, only 2 from the midweek game. That does seem a surprise. I guess they didn't have a European game this week, so maybe they can go stronger. But they have got one eye on Thursday night, and I'm hoping that will help us out today. Let's get through the tunnel interview. I would expect this to be a very big game. We want the lads to make sure they don't get lost in the occasion. Don't become ill-disciplined. Don't get yourself down to 10 men. Give yourself the best chance. Let your football do the talking, as it did on the opening day, which we saw a couple of episodes back. So we've got the ball at the back here with Bukima at 6 minutes on the clock. Schroeder finds Toxvard. Through ball towards Rothman is just overhit, and Healy can clear it downfield as far as Anyembi. He picks the ball up on the right. Finds Harbo. Lovely switch to Beck, who's got him behind the fullback. Tobias Beck with the early goal. And Viborg take the lead in a big rivalry match. Midtjylland behind. They've been such underachievers in this save. With Copenhagen in first, it's important we hang on to their coattails. And unfortunately, David Palmer's not going to be a part of that. Not taking any risk with a hamstring. Sampaio's on. 75 minutes for him. He wouldn't have expected that. We've got a corner kick on the left though with Toxvard. The sub has been made. Carter's up at the back post. Almost a shame that Bukima didn't get the touch. It would have been a massive minute for him. But Hayden Carter, in fairness, has really stepped up since Jensen left. He is sort of that year further down the line. He's learnt the language. He's feeling confident. And if we can get Bukima there next summer, this could be a very fruitful couple of years for Viborg. 2 shots on target, 2 goals. Efficiency again as Schroeder picks the ball up in a central position. Hoyser wins the challenge, but it falls for Harbo. Sampaio the sub. Back to Harbo again. Sampaio makes that run in behind, and he's been found. By the byline, it's back to Anyembi. Toxvard's up, head's just over. Really strong attacking stuff from Viborg. Midtjylland haven't laid a glove on us. It's a really good display. We've just got to keep it up defensively as Marini, 5 minutes to the break, starting to get the visitors on the front foot. Back to Browers in midfield and Muru, the fullback. You can see one of the flares going off in the stand there, but not in a very conventional looking way. As Marini gets it to Holzer. Through ball to Salisu. Keeper's in no man's land. I've got a decision to make here. The last 6 or 7 games, Lerche's made mistakes in 3 of them. And it's becoming a problem now. I know a lot of you didn't love Morten Berens, but he very rarely made errors. And at the moment, Lerche's costing us a few too many. So might just be time to drop him out again. Maybe just till the winter break, let him do some training. But at half time, every shot on target has gone in. It's 2-1 to Viborg. And I hope that late goal in the first half doesn't harm us. 65 minutes gone. We've seen nothing of the second half until this point. And I do just want to point out again, looking down, Rothman, the weakest player on the pitch, he just hasn't got going this year. Whether it was missing the pre-season and those first couple of games, I say as he dinks a beauty off the post. Oh, I thought he'd scored. Excuse me losing the words. I was about to celebrate. I was ready to say something else. And unfortunately, it just hit the woodwork and bounced out. What a man. Almost delivered instantly. But not quite to be. We're going to take off Anyembi at right back. He will be replaced by Carlson with Carter going out to right back. We're also going to bring on Laridson for experience at left back. Toxvard for fresh legs in the middle for Gröning. And then Rothman off, Sampaio up front. Daniel Thorson on the right. 5 subs made, 15 minutes or so to go. It's been a really good performance and it deserves a win. So let's hope we can get it over the line. Well, I was about to say the good sign is it's gone quiet, but here we are again with the ball at the back. Carter and Carlson keeping possession to Bukima. Simple ball to Witt and Harbo. Back to Carlson again. I don't like the way they're pressing us and we look nervy, but that's a good long ball. Thorson brings it down on the right wing. Got 2 in the middle. Sampaio's there. Great header into the far corner. It's been deserved on the performance, and Flavio Sampaio, he's getting there. I know he had that early hat-trick. It's been a bit stop-start aside from that for him. And to be honest, he wouldn't have played this much if it wasn't for Rothman's injury. So we can't get too much on his back. He scored a good goal to guarantee victory there. And a 3-1 win is comprehensive. And it keeps us in the hunt in second place. Through to Copenhagen next week. That's the big challenge for us all. We battered them last time on the pitch, but then still somehow lost 3-0. What's going to happen this time? Back in a moment to find out. Fitness test time ahead of the big game. If we can win this somehow, we are slightly in a title race, although Copenhagen have basically been invincible this year. 2 draws, no defeats, 4 points clear. The goal difference is better. They've conceded the least. They've scored 1 less than us because of that late one in the last game, but they are a formidable force. And if you look at what's happened to Midtjylland since they stole their manager in the summer, you have to say he looks like one of the greats in this country at the moment in FM, despite what some of you have said in real life. So let's go and get into it. Away from home is not going to be easy, but the performance last time against them gives me encouragement. The result scares me. Let's see who we can put out today. We have got Toxvard and Palmer, of course, unavailable. So Sampaio is back in on the right-hand side. Toxvard replaced by I don't even know who. Who do we put in centre midfield? I think we're going to go for Carlson in the holding role and Vitt into centre mid. That means on the bench will be Tramberg and Blaham. The only man to miss out is the youngster Lucas Molgaard. And he won't be too far behind when Tramberg leaves the club. So that is the team that we're going for today. It is 2 changes from the last game, both enforced. I'm sticking with Lerche for this game. But if he makes a howler in this match, I'm going Morten Behrens for the next one. Let's submit the team. Copenhagen away. Can we cause a shock? Or are we going to firmly be second best this season? Well, straight through to the dressing room. We'll have to have a look at the team in a minute. I don't think I clicked past it. Let's see who they've got out. They have got Andre Hort, Erasmus Falk, Jesus Vallejo centre-half. Again, it looks like they might be resting a few. Anthony Robinson was one of their summer signings, and he looks a real good player, but he's not starting for them. So, have they got Thursday night football to be worried about? No, they went out in the Europa Conference qualifiers. They lost in the 3rd qualifying round to a Finnish side. That's a shock and a half, but it was also just after the manager was appointed and they've been faultless in the league since, so maybe he's building something else instead. No wonder they're doing so much better domestically. Let's get through to the first half. We are heavy underdogs here, but we know we can hurt them. We've just got to take chances. Can Joachim Rothman find form today? Be a very good time to do so. Well, a very quiet half an hour to start. Brøndby are ahead at Randers, so it does mean there's pressure from behind for second place as well. But in terms of the chances, we've restricted Copenhagen. We've had a little more, but that means nothing. That's exactly what happened in the first game against them, and they ended up running away with it second half. So are the extra players, the squad depth, the fresh legs, are they going to prove pivotal now? Let's get into the second half and find out. Midtjylland getting a timely win as well. And Brøndby now 2-1 up after 2 late first half goals. And Copenhagen are getting back on top here. You can see they're starting to create chances. They've had all of the possession. And again, maybe without service this time, Rothman is struggling up front. As Schroeder throws into Tobias Beck and Carlson. It is lovely to see the development we're making though. And the fact that we are stronger than last year, despite losing stars. And if we can continue to do that. As Rothman's in, I think he was offside. But if you look at the start of this save. The first summer, we lost, what, 2 or 3 players. We lost Janusa the 1st January. Have we actually had a transfer window we haven't lost someone? I don't think we have from our first 11. So considering that, we still continue to stay strong and get better. I'm really proud of the job we're doing here. But with 20 to go, we're going to have to make changes because there's nothing in it. I don't want to do too much. It might just be the one to start with. I'm going to bring on Blaham up front for Rothman. And we'll leave the other 4 for a little while yet. But as we come into the final 10 minutes, we've got to be really pleased with how we're restricting them. Yes, it's probably time for late changes now as Vitt is replaced by Gröning. We're also going to bring on, I think, both of the wingers will be replaced by Thorsen and by Karstrup. And then Schroeder's had a good game on the left, so I'm going to leave him on. I'll bring Tramberg on for Anyembi at right back because he struggled a little bit more. He always struggles for fitness. He's just come back from an injury, then international duty. So let's look after him. Hopefully we can cling on. Yes, Brøndby closed the gap, but they're unlikely to win here. A point would be fabulous, and I think we're going to get it. 94 minutes played. Might be the worst game I've shown you on camera since we came to Viborg. Let me know down in the comments if you agree it is. But I am really pleased with that point. It's a fabulous result. We restricted them to next to nothing. And unlike the last game, we didn't have that late collapse. We didn't have that first goal conceded. And overall, 4 points from those two games. I would have been delighted with that at the start of the episode. So let's get through to the schedule to see when we're going to be back and see if there's any repercussions of that performance. But at the moment, 6 points clear of Brøndby, 4 behind Copenhagen. It looks like the top 3 are in little leagues of their own. We are the best 3 sides. We seem to have quite a distance between each other. My only concern is January round the corner. Does someone come in for one of our big boys? Let's go ahead to the schedule, see if we're going to be back before it. Well then, not the most entertaining game. I'm trying to think on the face of it, apart from Randers away earlier in the season, when is the last time we had a game that bad? We had a 0-0 at Odense early last season, and a couple, I guess, at home to Copenhagen in that spell just before we got to the top 6 last year. But I've got to say, that was a really gutsy defensive display. And one of the things that's impressing me most this season, having lost Jensen for massive money and got in a last-minute replacement that can't speak the language, for our defensive ability to be our strength at the minute, I think that's a real testament to this group. Yes, we're still struggling to get goals out of Rothman. I might well sell him if it doesn't work out soon. But we have got big decisions to make in January. If we have a look at the contract situation, Daniel Thorson, after that deadline day bid last time, seems hell-bent on leaving at the end of the year. Do I try and negotiate a deal before January to get some of the money back and a sell-on clause? Or do we hang on to him for the season and accept losing him for free? Because he ain't budging. There's no new deal coming for him. I'm looking further up the squad. Yes, it's going to be the end of the road for Tranberg, Lauritsen, Gröning. Can we add that little bit of extra depth? What's going to happen with Karstrup? And will Jurchin Rothman start to deliver? I don't really want to give him a new deal, but he's only 1 goal away from being a star again. We've also got an added little caveat as well. Morten Toksvard is interested in joining permanently. Now, Copenhagen want a couple of £1 million for him. If we can pull it off, is it worth it? Because he's already a superstar. He's going to get even better. He plays well for us. 9 assists in 11 games. Great set-piece delivery too. I just feel like I can't turn down the opportunity if it comes. But financially, we probably have to sell to be able to get him. So lots of big decisions to be made. Lots of things undecided just yet. But if we have a look at the schedule, we are going to get through for all of the 4 games before the winter break. And then, of course, we will have a 2-legged Danish Cup quarter-final if we get through. So if that's one of the big sides, we'll come back for that. If not, we'll go all the way through to deadline day and then show the first game in the Superliga after the winter break. If you did enjoy this one though, we know we're going to be in the top half this year, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the performances, maybe why Rothman's goals have dried up. Is it the contractual situation? Is it interest elsewhere? Or are we just having one of those spells? If you want to stay up to date and find out how the rest of the season goes, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. Let me know down in the comments if you think we can catch Copenhagen, or is second realistically our best this year? Or have we got to look over our shoulder and worry the other way, considering Brøndby beat us last time out? Hopefully you'll pop back in a couple of days' time for the next one, but in the meantime, you can find all the key links and playlists up in the eye above, and anything that's not up there will be down in the description too. But above my head now is the top 3 playlist. Please do give it a try if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time back in Denmark with Viborg as we look to push Copenhagen all the way in the Danish Superliga. I'll see you there.